無限大の地図広げ果てしないディアの場所へ Let's sing on 高く頬を上げて風に乗れ
Welcome to my guide for Magellan and Impel Down. Today we will be covering the leaders Magellan, Hannibal, and Ivankov. These primary colors consist of blue and purple. Magellan, your turn once per turn when a Don is returned to the Don deck, he gains plus 1000 for the turn. Hannibal, at the end of your turn, will allow you to return a character with a cost of 2 or more to the hand as long as it's Impel and set a Don is active. End of turn, if you have 0 cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. Purple Impel Down support. Hannibal, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal 1 purple Impel Down type card other than Hannibal, add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. Little Sadie, on play up to 1 Jailer Beast type character from your hand. This includes any of the Jailer Beast cards that you have in rotation or in the deck. Minotaur, double attack. This card deals 2 damage. On KO, if your leader is Impel Down type, add 1 Don from your Don deck and rest it. Magellan, Don -1. Both players return a Don to their Don deck. On KO, your opponent returns 2 Don to their Don deck. Mino Koala, blocker. After this opponent declares an attack, you may rest this character and change the target of that new attack. On KO, if your leader is Impel Down, add 1 Don from your Don deck and rest it. Mino Zebra, banish. When this card deals damage, the target is trashed without activating its trigger. On KO, if your leader is Impel Down type, add 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. Mino Rhinoceros, on KO, if your leader is Impel Down type, draw 2 cards, trash 1 card from your hand. Basically the queen of the deck. Mino Chihuahua, rush. This card can attack the turn in which it is played. On KO, if your leader is Impel Down type, add 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's have a brief overview of the purple Impel Down support as a whole and what it offers. Now here, as you can see, this is everything that we currently have minus Hell's Judgment on the screen. Each of these characters kind of has their own role to play, Hannibal being the searcher, Little Sadie being the combo extender, and, you know, different ways to put pressure on the opponent. Personally, I only really like the banish, the blocker, the rusher, and the double attack. Honestly, these will probably get switched out dependent on the meta, but hey, it is what it is, and you have to really just work with what you have. Each color, independent of itself, is going to offer a variety of different effects as far as the color goes. Blue has an entire different set of cards and offers a set of different things, almost similar to purple, but in different instances. Next, we will go over generic blockers used in purple. Lots of great choices to choose from. Overall, they're pretty simple as far as cost goes, so not too much to worry about there. First, we have Sanji, who's a 6-cost blocker for 6k. If I believe your opponent's at more Don, you can play him for a cost of 3. Queen, generic 5-cost on play, Don -1, discard or draw 2, trash 1. Next, we have a 6-cost Kid. Basically, anytime a Dawn is used once per turn and on your turn, you can basically take that Dawn back for free. So basically a much more cost-effective pudding as it becomes a blocker instead of just a 3k body on board. Or a 4k body on board. Next is probably one of my favorite blockers for purple is Law. Don -1. If your opponent has 7 or more cards in hand, they trash 2. And this is random, so they do not get to choose. Comes in very handy in certain situations, depending on the matchup of that nature. Overall, this is not something that you guys have to stick to. I'm just kind of going down the list of generic blockers as far as purple has. I do know purple has Impel down blocker, not Koala. It's a 2K blocker, and there's lots of other cool blockers. 4-cost Uta on block, Dawn -1, rest a 4-cost or less on the opponent's side, and that's just to name one. Again, really just kind of make the deck your own, guys. There's lots of things to choose from. In the next couple of sections, you'll see what I mean. And unfortunately, I can't list every blocker. I just list off some of the ones that are more widely used across the board. All right, probably one of the more crucial parts of this guide is going to be ramping Dawn. And you'll see that a few different cards here on the next slide. Again, going to be kind of the same thing as the blockers, just generic ramp. Basil Hawkins on play, ramp 1 Dawn. I believe it's rested. Its triggers play this card, so you effectively get a free ramp for the turn. Nico Robin, now that I'm looking at this, don't think is a ramping character. I think I think if you have 5 or more Dawn, she does ramp, but she's not going to be one of your more typical ramping. And the next one we have is Bonclay. On play, I believe it's active, might be ramp, but this thing also acts as the red Shariah blocker. It gains the attack of whatever is attacking, so it becomes permanent for that turn. Which is really cool. I also believe it works on your turn also. Another cool thing is with ramp in general, there's different leaders that you can play. It doesn't have to specifically be Impel down. Now, in cases of Dawn ramping, you have things like Zoro Juro. You have Dawn cards that allow you to pretty much do everything that you would need to do in certain situations for that. Now, each deck is going to be dependent on what support it plays. Now, this is realistically only for purple and any other variation of purple. You have Zephyr, who's purple-black, King, purple-black, the new Luffy coming out, purple-black, Kaido, purple, blue-purple Kaido. You have your blue-purple Croc, blue Luffy, the leader promo, Blue Sakazuki, Rebecca. There's tons of different options for ramp. I don't know why I said Rebecca and Sakazuki. Those do not play ramp. I apologize for that. I just had a brain fart. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on with the video. Up next is going to be the characters, boss characters that you would play. Mid to late game characters for Impel down. Here at this stage, guys, there's several things you can do to continue keeping board control and just kind of keeping your opponent on their toes. For one, we have King on play, Dawn -1, KO a character of a 4-cost or less. Very good in certain situations. Just being a 7K body in general is good. I do think the cost on this should have been significantly less. 5 for 6 would have been a little bit better, and KO at 5K, a cost of 5 or less. But hey, you can't be picky about what cards you have at your disposal. Next, we have 7-cost Kid. On play and when attacking Dawn -1, your character, I believe it's your leader, gains 1K for the turn. Very good for certain situations where you want to counter less. So 2Ks, 1Ks, and keeping it permanently buffed till the start of your next turn. So effectively making Magellan a 2K for the turn. Now, if you have 2 of these, he becomes 3K for the turn until you pass, and effectively stays at a 7 moving on to that. Next, we have 9-cost Kaido. Dawn -5 on play. You can pop a character with a cost of 6 or less and gains rush. Being 10K attack is very detrimental in certain situations and often can lead to game wins. A personal favorite here on this list of mine that just as far as the pictures you can see is 9 cost Lin Lin. Very versatile in purple. Now we have ways to get life back and take care of the board at the same time. Something that really was only kind of exclusive to yellow until 8 cost Croc came out, allowing him to get a life. So purple has seen a variation of that, just leader locked to Croc himself. Now, there's probably a lot of other 10 cost characters you can play, or 9, even mid-range 5 to 7 or 5 to 8. Really just depends on what it is. Now, this next card is probably one of my favorites, Kaido Lin Lin. Dawn -10, KO all characters on board except for this one. You basically take a card from the top of your deck, place it in life, and your opponent trashes theirs. Comes in handy with Black Maria to get your Dawn back. Now, if you have Mino Koala, Mino Chihuahua, any of the Jailer Beasts that ramp on KO, you get that Dawn back. So if you have 1 to 3, chances of you having 3 are probably slim to none. But hey, a man can dream, right? But that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for the mid to late stages of Impel Down. There's Again, like I said, there's a lot of choices. This is just personally what I chose to put in the video. Blue Impel Down support. Starting off, we have Buggy. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 blue Impel Down type card other than Buggy. Add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Next up, we have Ivankov. On play, reveal 1 card from the top of your deck and play up to 1 character with a cost of 2. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. When attacking once per turn, draw 1 card if you have 6 or less cards in your hand. Here we have Inuzuma. If you have 1 or less card in your hand, this character gains plus 2,000 blocker, and basically just a really good body and attacker to have, even though it is a blocker. Up next is the Inuzuma. End of your turn, if you have 2 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. So basically the queen, except you don't have to discard. Six cost Monkey D. Luffy. On play, when attacking, you may trash 2 cards from your hand, return up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. This character gains double attack during this turn, meaning this card deals 2 damage. Next up is the 7 cost Ivankov. On play, draw cards so that you have 3 cards in your hand, and then play up to 1 blue Impel Down type character with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. Plays very well with the Luffy, the Inuzuma, or any of the other characters you have. Preferably you want to do Luffy, but hey, it is what it is. Here we have the overview for what it is you see. Now, playing this in Hannibal, of course, is going to be a little bit different. With Buggy being the searcher, Ivankov kind of not really being able to play anything on this list other than the Buggy. You do have the Blue Impel Down 2K, I believe it is, and the Charlotte Pudding that are played in this to kind of get your 2Ks back, along with the Little Sadie. The Inuzuma being the queen of the deck, being able to play Queen and Inuzuma in the same deck is quite nice. Constant hand cycling means you have counters, events, and things of that nature. With 7 cost Ivankov kind of being able to flood the board with your Monkey D. Luffy, the 3 cost Emporio Ivankov going into the Buggy to get a search. Endless possibilities you could do, but again, I only really dabbled in Hannibal for a short time. during EB01. I have to say he wasn't really my favorite leader, but you know, he does have some spice here and there. Really, just isn't my leader. Moving on to late game here. Not too many cards, self-explanatory. 9 cost Sanji allows you to play 9 cost or less, so things like Katakuri, um, uh, your Mihawk here. He also returns a body to the deck. Bottom of the deck, Kaido allows you to draw cards if you have 3 or less life. Your opponent has 3 or less. And then this Kaido here also returns 2 characters. I don't know the cost. Card's too small. I didn't put text up for this, but hope you guys understand. Next up is lines and deck list. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the part of the video where I go over my deck and kind of go over different lines and, you know, kind of just discuss why it is I play what I play. So the entire guide has been about Impel as a whole. I don't really know too much about Ivankov as a leader. I never have really played it, so I can't really speak on that leader. I dabbled in a little bit of Hannibal, wasn't really quite my playstyle with blue, things of that nature, but since OPO2, I've really loved Magellan and just the way it meshed into the purple archetype and purple support as a whole. I do love the Impel engine. It's a nice niche little engine that, you know, doesn't really see a lot of play or this leader at all. I do think it has what it takes to be a top leader. And I just wish we got maybe a little bit more support or something better. But maybe we'll see something in the future where he's a little more viable and can kind of terrorize the meta, such as these other leaders have. But kind of starting off with the bread and butter of the searchers here, it's for Hannibal. Basically, look at the type 5 cards of your deck, reveal 1 purple Impel down type, and then add it to your hand. Of course, you can't add Hannibal off of Hannibal, like some of the green searchers that would be broken. But yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. 9 times out of 10, if this is what you open, you don't see a Magellan, you want to try and grab that. But 9 times out of 10, you want to at least see one of these or a Magellan in your hand, as that is the only way to access it other than drawing it or taking it out of life. Next is the 2K for the Impel down package. 3, I'm used to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! This is going to be 4 Little Sadie. Overall, she's the combo piece to most of the Jailer Beasts in the deck. Her effect is on play up to 1 Jailer Beast character card from your hand. Now, later in the future, you know, again, if we get some decent support, she could probably play out something a little bit bigger than a 4, but, you know, it just is what it is. But for the combo pieces, I have... I chose for this meta to go with 3 Minotaur. Normally I play the Banish, but with everything being kind of swarm heavy and hand impacting, I kind of just wanted something that puts a little more threat on the opponent or pressure. This good early game, and it's definitely a force to be dealt with late game. 15k double attack kind of hurts, and especially if you have a Kaido Linlin 9 cost Kaido or you know, 9 cost Linlin, some big body on board to help kind of mitigate, you know, swings and things of that nature when you're trying to swing for game or go dawn management. The next one for the blocker Impel down Jailer Beasts is going to be Koala. Really love the alt art. Again, standard blocker. Most of the Jailer Beasts all have a effect on KO. You can basically take a Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it, assuming your leader is Impel down. So this would work with Hannibal, and more than likely Ivankov if it had any sort of purple relation, but it doesn't. But moving on to one of my other favorites is the Rush. This right here kind of just sealed the deal for the Impel package for me. You know, it was only a matter of time. We got double attack, we got Banish, but Rush, the package as a whole really needed something to put pressure. The double attack and the Rush, I really feel like that's a great combo to kind of even things out. Last but not least here, we have the boss man himself, Mr. Magellan. Sorry for the shitty positioning. Um, Sorry for the shitty camera angle too. Not the best, but I have to work with what I got. This guy, every single time, if he is in your hand on turn 5, if he's there, play him. If you happen to get another one in between now and then, if you have two, drop these bad boys back to back to back to back. If you have the ability to, chaining them is so crucial to keeping your opponent's resources down. Against black, it keeps them out of Gecko. I'm not going to really say it keeps them out of Sabo, but Black Yellow Luffy, aside from the constant 9k swings of that nature, really keeping Black Yellow Luffy and Lucci out of their big puzzle piece is pretty good. Locking certain other characters or leaders out of their big bodies is great. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's like an explosion goes off in your mouth. The thing that really resonates with me is this is how it feels to chew 5 gum. That's just me. But that's going to wrap it up for the Impel Down package. Next is another 3-drop that I find better than... I might catch some flack for this, but Pudding is a mandatory 4 of in this deck. I find the utility and the cost a lot better than Eustace Captain Kidd, the blocker. Drop this on turn 3. All of your Dawn -1s, your Hell's Judgment, your Magellan, your Queen, your Law, they're all free. Really nice to have. And again, if you establish it early, it's better, but being a low-cost character or body, it's easy to be picked off by other cards. Next is another staple of purple decks. 2k Purple Maria. This card's pretty self-explanatory. Once per turn, if you have no other Black Maria characters, add up to 5 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest them. Then at the end of the turn, return Dawn cards from your field to your Dawn deck until you have the same number of Dawn cards as, on the field as your opponent. Now, I'll kind of go into a little more detail, why I like this card in general, especially at a 4 of and just being a 2k. But moving on is the next essential part of the blocker for me. Handles the Anel matchup, handles Dofi, with their hands getting, again, a bit too big. This kind of mitigates them having such a sizable hand advantage to you, but again, you don't really play this that often. It felt weird at 3, and there's just... Sometimes you just don't play this, but other than that, for a blocker, it's not bad. Pretty generic 4. The next 2k, the final 2k on the list, so I play 4 Little Sadie, 4 Black Maria, and the last 2k is the 5-cost Drake. Mostly pretty much just use the K or counter. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little cheeky, I will drop it and force them to trash a card out of their hand. Really fun. There is a hand destruction build with this that I do like to play. Sometimes the hand destruction is a little bit better with King in general, but I'll go into more King on a later guide. Next, kind of rounding everything off, we have Queen. Again, Pudding, -1, Dawn, you get this Dawn for free, draw 2, trash 1. Good for great dead cards in your hand, like if you have Magellan's late game, bigger bodies of that nature, things such as your 9-cost Lin Lin. I play 3. Dropping this on 2 or 3 life feels very good, especially if you're just kind of letting your Impel characters go. Early game, I let them go as quickly as possible. I want the ramp, so I'm not really too worried about it. Next up on the list, also, this is so good. Gets rid of key blockers, key puzzle pieces that people need. Just a really great card, and you gain a life off of it. The only downside is you have to trash a card, but again, hand cycling, sometimes having big bodies, dead cards in hand, it's not something you really want to see. Now, next on the list of 9-cost characters I enjoy playing are the 9-cost Kaido. On play, Dawn -5, you can basically KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less, and it gains Rush. So you're popping a 6k, or a cost of 6 or less, and it gains Rush for 10. Who doesn't want that? Quite ridiculous in my opinion. Great card from STO4. Really, just overall, good boss characters. I wouldn't really change these out too much. Again, this list is really dependent on me and what it is I like to play. You guys are more than welcome to take this, put your own spice on it. I don't typically give out deck lists. You know, I had some weird thing about my deck. It's just personal. I don't normally give it out too often, but for the sake of the video, I will do it. And I do have a Perona deck list coming out that I did, or that I won my box tournament with at locals. But I did net deck that, so I do want to shed some light on it and kind of give props to the user that created it, or the pilot. But finishing things off here, I'm going to leave these for last. The events for the deck, I play one Impel down event, which is Judgment of Hell. Early game, this stops 5k swings, 6k swings, and allows you to counter out of bigger, you know, like 7k or 8k. Brings them down to 5, allows you to counter 1. Really comes in handy. Stops the leader cold in its tracks. But I did have this at 3. It's just not good. It's good early game, but you know, this deck is not something you want to play early game, especially with this event. But kind of, you know, shaking off a couple of swings for the first couple of turns, not too bad. Again, with big bodies, you know, you kind of sometimes need a little extra oomph. So I played Gum Gum Jet Gatling at 2. You could arguably take this card out. I just play this as it's searchable. But basically, trash 1 card from your hand, your leader or character gain 3k for the battle. But the last part of the deck is kind of something I enjoy running. It's only at a 2 of. If you were going to play anything more, I wouldn't recommend playing 2 sets of 9 costs, Lin or Kaido. But I'm playing the 10 cost Kaido Lin. When attacking, Dawn -10, KO all characters other than this character, then add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life, and trash up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life. Dropping this and controlling the board for matchups like Dofi, Lucci, Black Yellow, it doesn't really do too well into Black Yellow Luffy. The constant Sabo recycling. If you are able to keep them out of the geckos, it does really come in handy because they're not able to pretty much bring anything back. This, you drop it, kind of go into some other plays. Now, if you have cards like these on board, for example, at the time of you doing or dropping this when you go to activate the effect, you could have 1, you could have 2, you could have all 3. Chances are you probably won't have all 3, but you just got back 3 Dawn for nothing. 3 Dawn is very fun, but, you know, kind of going into other things, we can also go into things such as your Black Maria. Where's it at? Black Maria, very good. Drop this. So not only did you get 3 Dawn back, you're also so with playing these, getting your 3 Dawn back, your opponent's going to be at 10. You're trying to catch back up to 10 as quickly as possible. So this, you don't have to return anything. I'm almost positive if they're at 10, because you want to be equal. So if they're ahead, you don't return anything as far as Dawn. Just really fun. Some really awesome things I like to do turn 7. After I've dropped my Magellan, and let's say I have my pudding on board, you do get it back. So let's say my hand is something, let me get these out of the way, sorry. Let's say my hand is something like this, right? This is going to be personal choice off of this, but anyway, you want to go ahead and just drop your little Sadie for 3, giving you a rusher, and then you play the 4 Dawn for the double attacker and the blocker, setting yourself up for almost 3 bodies for 7 Dawn, which would have taken 8, 9, 10, 11. So not too much, not too many lines here with this deck as a whole, but some really fun combos. I kind of drew this up while I was at work one day, decided to see if it would work. When it does work, it feels great. But again, it's Magellan, low tier leader. You got to work with what you got. Anyway, guys, that is going to be the in-depth Magellan guide. I hope you do enjoy the video. It's not my typical video. It took me quite a bit of time to work on it. I'm not used to Sony Vegas as a whole, but I enjoyed the work. And I do look forward to doing some more guides like this in the future, but it probably won't be anytime soon. With that being said, hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Wrath